Hey everyone, it's Jared from the Gamer Kit. I'm so excited that we finally get to share this video with you guys. In today's video, you're going to see the top 5 most anticipated games of 2021 for each of the 4 members of the Gamer Kit YouTube team. Myself, Matt, Zach, and Tom. I really hope you enjoy the video, guys. Thanks.
Alright guys, at number 5, I have the game Returnal. Let me start by saying this looks like my kind of game. A third-person shooter with psychological horror elements? Oh yes please. The aesthetic of this game just looks incredible. All these crazy-looking alien monsters made up of very loud and bright colors. It just looks so attractive. From what we're seeing of the combat in the game, in a way, the game kind of reminds me of Dark Souls, but almost with like big alien monsters and you're shooting a gun instead of fighting all these old, more medieval type monsters with swords. And this whole break the cycle thing that they're teasing in the trailer kind of leads me to believe that the game will employ some kind of time loop mechanic, where you're playing the same levels over and over again, encountering new things each time. Similar to the one we've seen in trailers for the upcoming PS5 game Deathloop. This game was actually delayed once as well. It was supposed to release on March 19th, but that date was recently pushed back to a later spring date. Returnal is being made by Finnish video game development company House Marquee, and is expected to release as a PlayStation 5 exclusive on April 30th. At number 4, it's God of War Ragnarok. I really don't have much to say about this game, but that's only because not much has been released about this game. I love the 4th installment of God of War. I thought it was a massive step up from the original trilogy, which I personally thought was a bit over the top and overwhelming at times. God of War on PS4, however, was an awesome change of pace for the series, and one that made me really excited for its future. I loved seeing Kratos in his new father figure role, and I really loved the transition to Norse mythology from Greek mythology. I'm definitely a little biased here, but I just think Norse mythology is a lot of fun. That's just me. God of War Ragnarok is in development at Santa Monica Studios and is expected to release for the PS5 and PS4 in the second half of 2021. At number 3, it's Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to the very popular Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm excited for this game for so many reasons. Considering the first game was so popular, but not exactly hyped up, the high expectations of this game could lead to a much deeper experience than the one offered in Zero Dawn. Certainly not to say that Zero Dawn didn't have a deep experience, but compared to the hype of Forbidden West, Zero Dawn didn't have nearly as high expectations as this game. The game also looks just breathtaking. When Sony revealed this game back in June of 2020, I couldn't believe how amazing and lifelike the world looked. This one part of the trailer in particular, with this big red turtle looking monster, really excited me. To see this big crazy thing just emerge from the ground and shriek towards Aloy was just so cool. And overall, I really enjoyed the experience of Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and I certainly didn't expect it to take on this whole life and community of its own. This game has become just a massive cult classic, and considering you now have that big crazy fan base you didn't have before Zero Dawn came out, we can really expect Forbidden West to just be this big, awesome, really 2.0 version of Zero Dawn. On top of that, when you consider that this game is expected to release around Q3 or Q4 of 2021, we can certainly expect it to have all the new fun capabilities of the DualShock 5 controller. And going back to the trailer for a quick moment, I really enjoyed the ending sequence of this trailer. These big robot elephants with this big scary looking tribe coming right towards Aloy. Oh man, it just got me so steamed up. I seriously cannot wait to play through the next chapter in Aloy's journey. Horizon Forbidden West is in development at Guerrilla Games and is expected to release on the PS4 and PS5 in the second half of 2021. Oh man, I can't wait to play Back 4 Blood. I was a huge fan of Left 4 Dead, and I don't know how many hours of my life I've spent hoping and praying for an announcement of Left 4 Dead 3. My hunger was finally satisfied when I saw the announcement for Turtle Rock's new game, Back 4 Blood. Considering it's the exact same dev team, and it utilizes the number 4 in the same original way, we can certainly assume it's the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. And judging from the gameplay, it looks like Left 4 Dead with a massive next-gen facelift. With all new kinds of special infected, it seems like Turtle Rock is also injecting some brand new ideas into this game as well, to make it seem distinct from the original Left 4 Dead titles. Personally, I can't wait to get back into the havoc of Left 4 Dead style fun with Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood is in development at Turtle Rock Studios and is expected to release June 18th, 2021 on the PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. My number one most anticipated game of 2021 is Resident Evil Village. I'm a huge fan of horror games, and Resident Evil really is the granddaddy of all horror games. Also a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, which I loved. The first-person Resident Evil idea is personally really awesome, and I can't wait to try it again. Well, if I'm being totally honest, it scares the crap out of me, but I just really enjoy the immersion, and I like having the crap scared out of me, I'll be honest on that. I am so excited to play this game. Luckily, I've already gotten a taste of it with the Maiden demo. If you want to see that gameplay, the stream is available for replay on our channel right now. Resident Evil Village is being made by Capcom Studios and is expected to release on May 7 for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, and PC.
Hey guys, this is Matt from the Gamer Kit, and this is my top 5 most anticipated games of 2021 list. Hope you guys enjoy. Scarlet Nexus immediately caught my eye when it was shown off during Microsoft's first Xbox Series X showcase last May. The anime aesthetic and action-packed gameplay gave me callbacks to Platinum Games' 2019 title Astral Chain, an action-adventure game on the Switch that blew me away. While this is not related to that game, it perfectly scratched the itch that I had for an exciting, stylized, next-gen action RPG. While its release date hasn't been confirmed, it can't come soon enough. Scarlet Nexus is an action RPG played from a third-person perspective. It's a single-player game that combines weapon-based combat with psychokinesis. The story centers around an alternate reality where humans create technology based on the substances within the human brain which grant extrasensory powers. The Other Suppression Force, OSF, recruits members who have supernatural powers to defend against the Others, a group of monsters that want to feast on human brains. The writing and gameplay blend supernatural and cyberpunk elements, creating a style described by the developers as being a brainpunk game. Scarlet Nexus is being developed by Bandai Namco Studios and is currently set for release in the second or third quarter of 2021. The game will be available for PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series consoles. While I wouldn't call myself a hardcore Pokemon fan, I've enjoyed several of the spin-off titles in the franchise. I grew up with Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64, and while the game hasn't aged gracefully, it's still a charming title that I always wanted to see Nintendo try again on a new platform, be it the Wii, Nintendo 3DS, or Wii U. Now I'm finally able to get that wish with new Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo Switch. This new game looks adorable and visually stunning, and it's sure to be a big improvement on the foundation that the original game laid back in 1999. New Pokemon Snap is a single-player game with a first-person rail shooter design. You control a Pokemon photographer who visits different islands in the Lental region to research Pokemon. The trainer travels on expeditions in a hovercraft known as the Neo One, allowing them to safely take pictures of Pokemon in their natural habitats. Pictures are graded based on shot composition size and whether the Pokemon is facing the camera or not. On your travels, you are also tasked with researching a phenomenon known as Illumina, which causes different plants and Pokemon to have a special illuminating glow. New Pokemon Snap is in development at Bandai Namco Studios with a release date of April 30th. It will be available exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. Ever since my childhood, my favorite video game genre has been the platformer, specifically the 3D platformer. Many of my favorite video games come from series like Super Mario Bros., Spyro the Dragon, and Sly Cooper, and it's been nice to see the 3D platformer make a return after a period of dormancy. Balan Wonderworld is a game that perfectly taps into my sense of childhood nostalgia with the genre. Developed by Yuji Naka, the game does give me flashbacks to his old school platformer projects like Nights into Dreams and Sonic Adventure, but with a few nods to modern platformers like A Hat in Time thrown in to make things even more exciting. Balan Wonderworld is a single-player and multiplayer 3D platformer with a bit of a musical flair. Your playable character, either Leo Craig or Emma Cole, follow a maestro named Balan through a whimsical wonderworld. Within the game, you collect costumes that your character can wear that gives them special powers, and you also collect statues of Balan that allow you to travel to new worlds. Balan himself is also playable in short minigames centered around QuickTime events, where you battle a boss by matching Balan with a predetermined pose. There are 12 chapters to the game's story, each winding and visually stunning looks through a fantastical world. Balan Wonderworld is currently being developed by Square Enix's Balan Company with a scheduled release of March 26th. It will be available for PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series consoles. "2017's Horizon Zero Dawn was one of my favorite games of the last generation. It was a fresh, fantastic take on the open world genre that helped me to further appreciate and enjoy the style. So much so that as soon as I finished the game, I was practically begging for a sequel. Sony finally answered my calls with the announcement of Horizon Forbidden West in June of 2020, and they certainly picked the right time to announce it. Showcasing the game for the first time at the PlayStation 5 reveal event, this has been touted as one of the biggest marquee titles on Sony's new platform. With how much the first game blew me away, I'm more than ready for this one to do the same. Horizon Forbidden West is a single-player, third-person action RPG that continues the story of the first game's protagonist, Aloy. In this chapter, Aloy will uncover the secrets of a mysterious frontier known as the Forbidden West. The game will be much larger than the first one, as it's set in post-apocalyptic California, Nevada, and Utah, and will also feature a ruined San Francisco and the Yosemite Valley. It will also feature underwater exploration, allowing Aloy to uncover more secrets beneath different bodies of water. With a PlayStation 5 release, the game will also take advantage of the system's DualSense controller, 3D audio, and reduced loading times for an even smoother, more innovative experience than before. Horizon Forbidden West is in development at Sony's Guerrilla Games Studio with a prospective release in the back half of 2021. It will be available on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. Ratchet and Clank is one of Sony's most iconic gaming franchises, and even despite a few rough stretches, the series came back stronger than ever with the 2016 reboot on the PlayStation 4. I've been very excited to see what would come next for the franchise, but I couldn't have expected the pure joy that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart's early demonstration would have given me. When I think of the next generation, this game immediately pops to mind as one of the biggest examples of just how much the new consoles can be pushed. Beyond the general polish and refinement to the series' core platforming and shooting mechanics, this game is already looking like a true showcase of just how far we've come with the PlayStation 5. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is a single-player platformer and third-person shooter that explores the continuing interdimensional travel of the Lombax Ratchet and his robot buddy Clank. The gameplay shares some similarities between the 2016 reboot, but also adds an incredible new mechanic known as the Rift Tether, which allows Ratchet to travel seamlessly through worlds and areas in real time. This new interdimensional travel will also help eliminate load times, and the PlayStation 5's custom solid-state drive will allow for greater amounts of enemies, objects, and visuals. It will also take advantage of Sony's DualSense controller, 3D audio, and real-time ray tracing effects for a more immersive experience. The addition of an unnamed female Lombax that will serve as a new playable character is also exciting, and there's sure to be some major gameplay differences that will help make her an excellent addition to the game. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is in development at Sony's Insomniac Games studio with a prospective release in the first half of 2021. It will be available exclusively on the PlayStation 5.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Zach, and this is my top 5 most anticipated games for 2021. Scorn is a game that I feel like everyone's been vaguely aware of for a while now. It's been flying under the radar for years, with the first trailer I remember seeing back in 2016. After getting delayed over and over again, it looks like it might come out this year, or at least it's supposed to. What drove me to put this on my list was the fact that it's very artistically unique, drawing heavy inspiration from H.R. Geiger, the guy behind a lot of the designs in Alien. Watching the gameplay trailer showed a sort of Metroid Prime style of FPS, with the puzzle-solving aspect as well as the combat, but with said combat being a little more slowed down and maybe not as prevalent. The sound design as well is impeccable, really bringing the surroundings to life. My only hope is that with these impressive visuals, it doesn't absolutely annihilate my computer when I try to play it. Scorn is developed by Ebb Software and slated to come out this year, 2021. Resident Evil Village. You know, what really is there to say? You can't not have it on your list, I feel like. That being said, the reason I have it so high up and maybe not lower is I personally am not super into the whole first-person Resident Evil type of game. I've always been much more of a fan of the third-person, more action-based games. Not to say that I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 6, as we all know how that turned out. But something more like 4 is what I grew up with and something I'm just more fond of, I think. So seeing it go more in this direction, while not my cup of tea, I'm still just excited for the expansion of the lore, especially with this game introducing vampires. While I have no idea how it's going to affect the lore with the whole T-virus thing and other assorted viral creations that make the zombies, I am still excited to see where it goes. Resident Evil Village is developed by Capcom and is slated to come out May 7th of this year. Skull and Bones, like Scorn, is another game that has been delayed over and over again. People might be reminded of how this game spawned from the innovation with the ship mechanics from Assassin's Creed 4. Now being slated for a 2021 release, hopefully this game can live up to the hype that's been building for years. In September of 2020, the creative director Elizabeth Pellin had said that they had more ambitious plans for the game. Questions needed to be answered, such as how do they modernize the classic pirate fantasy? For me personally, I don't really want a modernized pirate fantasy. I'm absolutely fine with something more traditional, as long as there's a strong focus on ship-to-ship combat, and that I can customize said ship to the absolute max. Regardless of those misgivings, the statements provided by the director at least show that they are working on the project. Therefore, I'm optimistic that the game will come out this year, and that I'll finally be able to sail the high seas with friends. Skull and Bones is developed by Ubisoft and some of its subsidiaries, and is slated to come out March this year. When I see the trailer for Atomic Heart, I immediately draw parallels to BioShock and Fallout. More than just it being a first-person action game with plasmid type things, the entire theme exudes a kind of fallen utopia vibe in the same way that Rapture did in BioShock. In an alternate reality of the Soviet Union in the 50s, technology has advanced to beyond even what we have today. You as the player are tasked with bringing back a manufacturing plant where seemingly things have gone awry. Additionally, the game is open world. This, combined with an in-depth crafting system, allows you to go at your own pace with your own playstyle, be it melee or shooting, etc. Despite the development cycle being rather rocky, for whatever reason a rather common theme on this list, production fully resumed a couple of years ago with the game set to come out this year. As action RPGs are generally my favorite genre of game, I'm very much so looking forward to this game and see what new things it can bring to the table. Atomic Heart is being developed by Munfish and is set to come out this year. And finally, at number 1, God of War Ragnarok. Now, one might have the valid question as to why this game would be on my list, considering, especially at number 1, considering the fact that I don't even own a PS5, or a PS4 for that matter. But having watched an entire playthrough of God of War 4, the rebranding for the series, I feel really invested in the characters that I've come to love over the 30 hours I put into watching someone else play the game, funnily enough. So far, I've really enjoyed the direction they've taken the series, in terms of making it more mature, as all the people who played the original games would be of generally parent-rearing age. So it's a nice refreshing take on the classic story of a father and son, with an awesome backdrop of Norse mythology, which obviously takes some liberties, but is still extremely intriguing nonetheless. Like I said, I don't have a PS5, but I will absolutely bum this game off some friends as soon as I can when it comes out. God of War Ragnarok is developed by Santa Monica Studios and is set to come out this year.
Hey everyone, this is Tom and this is my top 5 list. Let's start with Stray. When I first saw the teaser back in June on the PlayStation's Future of Gaming event, I wasn't very sure about this game at first, and I wondered, what kind of game was this? As the teaser went by, I started to realize the setting that the game was apparently taking place in was like a cyberpunk city populated by robots. When I realized that you play as the cat, it sure sealed the deal for me, as the world also looked stunningly beautiful and I loved the art direction. Although the teaser left us with more questions than answer, really, I can't wait to be able to find out and explore more of this world as the perspective of a cat. The game is a third-person, single-player puzzle simulation adventure game. Well, that was a mouthful. It has open-world elements with a focus on the atmosphere and the art, which is one of the aspects that I really liked of this game. The title has been in development for PlayStation 5, PS4, and PC since 2015 by Blue 12 Studio, a young studio with Stray being their first game when only 2 people were actually working on it. What can I say about this game? The visual and art design are simply breathtaking. When I saw the trailer and gameplay for the first time, I said to myself, I need this game. The game takes some visual and gameplay similarities to a Nintendo IP such as Breath of the Wild, I know, but it still feels so different and unique. The colors, particle effects of the combat are gorgeous and the world feels so alive and full of mysteries. And don't even get me started on the grass graphics. You play as Kenna, a spirit guide who uses her magic to help deceased people move from the physical to the spirit world, which is something I've never played before. On top of all else, you have these small companions named Rot, small fuzzy little creatures that are simply adorable and practically the only reason why you need to get this game. Kenna Bridge of Spirits is a third-person action-adventure game set in fictional place inspired by Japan and Bali, which adds to the mysticality that I previously mentioned. Developed by Ember Labs for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and PC. The game was originally planned for a console launch release, but it was delayed to March 2021, which is fine by me as I'd rather have a finished game than a rushed one. How can I not put Horizon Forbidden West in my top 5 most anticipated games? I put in so many hours and completed the first game to 100%, although at first starting the game it didn't captivate me that much and I actually left it alone for a while. Once I picked the game up again and advanced a little more into the story, I simply couldn't stop. The apocalyptic setting where nobody knows what happened and you have to figure out by yourself is a storytelling that impacts me deeply, and discovering everything that happened in the first one actually made me share a tear at the end. Aside from the amazing narrative, fighting against robotic dinosaurs and animals was something I haven't seen before and I was completely hooked on the idea. The first game still left a lot of answers to be discovered, and I can't wait to see what Aloy is going to face in her new adventure. I do hope I can ride one of those huge elephants that appeared during the trailer. They looked menacing as hell. The world was already stunning and gorgeous in Zero Dawn, so I can only imagine how it would look like for next gen. This game is going to release on both PS5 and PS4, and I sincerely hope that the game wasn't scaled back that much to properly work on PlayStation 4. I'm inclined to believe that they went from PS4 to PS5, but you never know. Forbidden West is a third-person action RPG developed by Guerrilla Games and will apparently be available at the end of 2021, hoping. By now, you must think that I only care about PlayStation titles. But if that were true, I would have placed God of War at my number 1. We currently don't know anything about the upcoming God of War title, only that it's supposed to be a sequel and the name Ragnarok at the end of the teaser. I'm anxiously waiting for this game since the rumors started to develop back in July that the game was going to be shown at the PlayStation event. Of course, I wasn't expecting a huge announcement because the game would still be in development and they wouldn't have anything concrete to show us. But the teaser announced that it was coming in 2021, something I wasn't expecting. It felt a little soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game gets pushed to 2022. The news still made my excitement go even higher, as God of War is one of my favorite franchises, and the latest installment in the series took it to another level when Santa Monica Studios decided to give it a new perspective with the over-the-shoulders angle, an older, wiser Kratos that was also a father figure. The game felt much more relatable to the generation that grew up with Kratos, and so the game had a much bigger effect on me than previous ones. The amazing soundtrack, gameplay, and combat felt so impactful that it made me invest hundreds of hours into the game, and I can't wait to see what the next one brings to the table, especially with what happened with the secret ending. God of War will still be an action-adventure game and will be exclusive for the PlayStation 5, but according to former director David Jaffe, the game will also be available on PlayStation 4. but hasn't officially been confirmed yet. All in all, God of War is a day one purchase for me as it never ceases to amaze me. You didn't see this one coming, did you? At the number one spot for me is Monster Hunter Rise, developed and published by Capcom, which have done a fantastic job the last couple of years. I fell in love with this franchise with Monster Hunter World. Before that, I didn't know it actually existed until I saw the first announcement trailer at E3 back in 2017. When I first saw it, I actually thought it was a new IP that looked quite interesting and very cool. But to my surprise, the franchise was already 13 years old at that time, with many titles released before this one. The game is an action RPG where you play as a hunter, track monsters down, and fight them so you can build armor and weapons from their parts. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. I spent thousands of hours playing Monster Hunter World, enjoying every minute of it and never getting tired or bored with it. There was always something new you can do, and so much content was put on this game that after 3 years, I still don't have everything completed. On the last developer diary, they announced the game would stop receiving new content, and that obviously made me a little sad. But at the same time, I was so grateful for all the content and everything they gave to the Monster Hunter community. Before the developer diary ended, they said they wanted to show us something new, and to my surprise, they announced Monster Hunter Rise. This is going to be my first handheld Monster Hunter game, as I didn't play previous titles that were handheld too. And it's going to be a new experience with new mechanics, new forms of traveling across the world, and of course new and returning monsters. Rise is also heavily inspired by Japanese culture. Monsters, villages, and art style were taking off of animals, creatures, and places of myth and reality. Everyone was so excited about Monster Hunter Rise that when the demo was released, the Nintendo eShop crashed from all the downloads. That should tell you all you need to know about this game. Just a little longer than a month before Monster Hunter Rise releases on March 26th for the Nintendo Switch.